She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Yeah, that's my good girl. Hazel Basil. Such a good girl. Yeah.
Hey, we are crawling on all fours, and today I've got this really cool truck. It's a custom RC crawler that I built using a Vanquish Products VRD straight axle builder's kit, and I also put on an RC4 drive Mojave II hard body. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about just the chassis and the components that I selected to make this truck unique. And we'll go over the details of the body in a separate video. Thanks to my subscribers and thanks to everyone that's been commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. Be sure to watch this video until the end, and I hope it gives you some tips and tricks on how to build a custom kit for your next crawler. Let's get to the build. Here's what the kit looks like assembled, and I will talk about the different custom features like this battery tray, wheels and tires, as well as this solo cup and soda can. But let's talk about the features that come with this kit right out of the box. So this does not include any electronics. The chassis itself is that. Transmission, frame, sliders, axles, shocks. Everything that will get you ready to put your own electronics and your own finishing touches, including wheels and tires. Kit includes their F10 straight axles on both the front and the rear of the chassis. It includes Vanquish's VFD transmission. Now, some will argue that this is a bulky set of components. I don't disagree, but it's also very effective in transferring the power and energy from the motor down to the transfer case of the transmission itself, and then incorporating overdrive gears for the front axles. You can also incorporate underdrive gears to lower the drive of the rear axle to give you an overall percentage of about 25+% of total overdrive. Now, this kit itself automatically includes, I believe, 6.5% overdrive to the front wheels. The chassis rails themselves are flat steel. It includes a small little tray for electronics like my receiver here. This does not come with a battery tray, but it did come with these aluminum sliders. These are the stock sliders, and you can see these little slots here. That's for a battery strap. I'm using some specialty mounts from Shrink RC. These double as sliders, and I can put a battery on there. They have little slots available for a battery strap, but I'm using a separate battery tray, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Shout out to Jesse at Shrink RC. I love your products. These are great for hard body installations, which is what I am doing with this particular kit. Other things that are included are these metal links. Metal links are really nice because they're going to minimize any flex in the suspension as it's moving laterally. You don't want to have movement in the axle. You want to keep that nice and taut. On the rear links, I had to switch these out because a hard body typically has a shorter wheelbase. So the wheelbase on this is 12.3 to 12.8, I believe. And I bought some smaller links also through Vanquish. These are the stock links. These were the upper links, and these are the beefy lower links. The lower links are offered in a thicker diameter to add a little bit more weight down low. These are also bent for high clearance, but I'm not looking to go crazy with this particular crawler because it is a hard body and I'm not comping it. So these links can be purchased separately, and I'll include those models in the description below if you plan to do a hard body on a kit like this. You can also see that the chassis is angled, and that will help for better clearance over rocks in the center of the vehicle. Now, a lot of times a rock crawler will get hung up right in the center, but this is designed with it being angled like this to give it a little bit more clearance, not only to clear a rock, but also to slide over that rock as well. It's all in the geometry. You've got plastic drive shafts, And that's fine. You can always upgrade those in the future to get some steel or aluminum drive shafts. This chassis is designed for low center of gravity. So they have placed the servo on the axle. That's called servo on axle steering. That simply moves the weight of the servo onto the axle to a lower point off of the chassis, maximizing the front load on the axle as you're crawling and keeping your tires planted. The kit also includes these S8E shocks. These are probably my least favorite components of this kit. Although they're very smooth in their action and they include some very, very soft springs, they leak like crazy. Just picking these up, my fingers are already a little bit oily. All the reviews and tons of videos, they all confirm that these leak like crazy. I could not stand filling these up multiple times and putting in new oil. I even put in heavier weight oil. I put on some grease onto the shock shaft itself just to try and plug up any sort of gaps that might be causing the leaks. So that did not help. They were still leaking from the top, and even with the bleeder cap screwed down to close up the seal, it didn't matter. Everything was still leaky. So instead, I installed a set of TooMod shocks, and these are all metal in design, everything from the cap down to the bottom shock ends, as well as the spring cups at the bottom there. So it's a great design. Not only is it a good design, but these things do not leak. They're super cheap. They're only about 25 bucks. I bought them on eBay from the TooMod Racing store, and I got them in a few days. It was not a bad ship time, but the quality on these is far better than the stock shocks. Now, just before I finish this video, Vanquish sent me a shock rebuild kit, which is really great because I was not satisfied with the stock shocks, the S8E shocks that come with this crawler. I let Vanquish know. I talked to their customer service. They apologized and sent me this kit, so I really appreciate their professionalism and their commitment to quality customer service. So in this particular application, because I'm doing a hard body with an interior, I needed a place to put my battery because the interior would take up much of this space and prevent me from putting a battery on either of these sliders, on either of these mounts. DSM Off-Road is a great little company. They make 3D printed parts, including battery trays for special applications, including the VRD. In this particular application, they have the battery tray mounted up front and very inexpensive. I think this thing was only like 10 bucks or something like that, or maybe 11 bucks shipped. It's a very simple mount. It just mounts across in between the flat rails here. So this little cross member simply holds the flat tray in place. Now, I had to do a little bit of a modification here. So this includes little sidewalls. I had to break those off because my battery was going to be a little bit bigger than the overall width of this tray. Once I broke those off, sanded it down, I simply super glued it or shoe glued it down to the cross member. So hopefully that stays in place. I think it will. I may eventually drill some holes and attach that because it actually already included some pre-drilled holes. But because of this application, I'm actually moving it a little bit further forward than it's supposed to be. Also, that's a benefit for me because it's moving weight further forward in the chassis. And I'm using this little scrunchie here. I got this from my daughter. Put that around the sides and it'll hold the battery in place since that's just a flat tray. I've installed a Hobbywing Fusion. This is the Pro 2300 kV brushless ESC and motor combo. So that combines the ESC and the motor in one can. This is brushless, so it is super quiet and super efficient. I absolutely love this motor. I've got a couple different motors. I've got another Fusion Pro on an Element Enduro, my Forerunner body, as well as the Fusion SE, and that's on a Rock Pirates rig with a hard body on that as well. I'm using a FlySky FSA3. It's just a 3-channel receiver. I don't have a bunch of lights on this. I don't have a winch. I don't necessarily plan to have a winch, at least not right now. So I needed something simple, something inexpensive, just to get wheels turning. So this works with my FlySky GT5 transmitter. It runs on the same communication and RF protocol. I wanted to make this easy to turn on and off, so I positioned the power button for the motor on the side rail, and that way when the body is on, it's easy for me to just reach underneath and press the button on and off. This is what it looks like with the battery in position, so you can see how far forward that battery is. The placement of the motor, which was intentional by Vanquish, sets that weight towards the front of the crawler as well. So again, with the servo on the front axle, not only do you have weight down low, but you have weight towards the front of the vehicle. I have added that battery to add some weight in the front, and then everything else, you know, again, being stock, pushes that weight towards the front of the vehicle, so you have more weight as you're going over obstacles and crawling over your rocks. Now this chassis had some torque twist to it, and it was pretty heavy. So when I was rolling on a straight line, the torque twist would cause the chassis to twist to the right here. And with a hard body, that amplifies that twist because you've got a lot of weight up top. So it causes the chassis and the body to kind of roll to the right as it's moving forward. So with the TooMod shocks, specifically in the front with the thicker springs and the stiffer springs, I was able to kind of counteract that roll to prevent it from, you know, leaning over to the right as it's crawling. So the stock springs from TooMod are actually pretty stiff. They work really well in the front of this vehicle, and they also included a second set of springs, a little bit softer, which I had put on the rear shocks. I didn't want to go the Endura route. A lot of people buy Endura wheels, and they're pretty common. So I liked these trail wheels, and these are pretty unique. I really like the spoke pattern. These just use M3 all the way, both for the hubs and also the mounting screws for the back ring. You just want to make sure you have the proper wheel hub. I'm also using these Duratrax pivot tires. Got these for a great deal off of Horizon Hobby. They were on sale for like 12 bucks a pair. It was insane. So I thought, man, 25 bucks for a great set of tires, and these are 4.19 inches in overall diameter. I thought that's a no-brainer, so I hopped on that right away. And they sold out pretty quickly, so I think I got a good buy. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got some tips on how to build a custom kit like this for your next crawler. Let me know what you think about this crawler by posting a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, share with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, keep crawling. I've put a lot of hours into this truck. Hazel, I'm doing a video. Sorry. I've put a lot of hours into this truck. I'm really glad I did. Hazel, I'm doing a video. Go inside. Go on. And action. I put a lot of hours into this truck. Hazel, no. Can I talk about my truck, please?
She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Yeah, that's my good girl. Hazel Basil. Such a good girl. Yeah.